really didn't know what to pick before I came here. Saw these awesome students over here from Nathan Bishop do their performance and talking to Aaron about tonight's program. So I'm gonna try to meet it in the middle somehow. She spoke in soft whispers like dandelions in bloom, smiled with her hands over her mouth, whistling giggles. She dressed on the reg in stonewashed jeans, pink shoelaces, rainbow scrunchies in her hair, and mismatching sweat socks. She was the living, breathing Punky Brewster of Manton Heights projects. Once she came to school with a perm that didn't perm, it just poofed. Took weeks for it to straighten out of an unnatural afro. Her first name was Lala. Got picked on by everyone in class, singing played out Smurf tunes. La 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 la, from breakfast till noon, right through 3 p.m. bell. I can recall chasing her one day after school in the 5th grade. One winter day, caught up with her. She fell, and for some reason, our eyes matched. Tears formed crystals and dry snot covered the corners of her mouth. No rhyme or reason to my feelings, I sent her a letter the next day. You know how it goes. Do you like me? Check yes, check no. Paper folded into the shape of a heart. We dated, but never kissed. Never even held hands. Just exchanged glances and innocent smiles. A decade has passed. Puberty seems like a thing of the past. Pops died on both sides, there was a fork in the road. I fell in love with revolution, and she was kidnapped by streets and dysfunction. Doing dirty things in public stalls, she bawled, my God, how the mighty have fallen. Heard the word kid Lala done slit her wrist on the bus ride home. I thought, what is home when you don't have a home to begin with? Immigrant family foreign to each other. But if I could find her, I would show her a worn crumpled paper in the shape of a heart, yellow at the edges, with a check in the right box. And I would tell her she's still my girl. So I use that in a way in terms of the journey that I've been taking, and it's really hard to process sometimes because it's, you know, when you're really in the thick of things, it's kind of hard to stop and take a breath. So the school I went to, William Debate, over there in the West End, right off Manton, and I don't know if guys are going to hear something about it later, but I'll keep it real brief. In terms of school, when you walk into the school that me and Lala went to, coming out of the house, literally down the street on Jocelyn Street, at the time in the mid-'80s, I remember walking to school, and it was a funny fun house. But it was weird because it had all like these inspirational sayings. It takes a village to raise a child. And the paint marks of children's hands and adults' hands, and there was a little garden, I remember. But as you walked to this place, you also noticed that there was barbed wire on the awning of the school. And there was bulletproof glass. And we had a security guard. So William Debate was literally, if I was going to count in terms of yardage, about 100 yards from my house. And this would be the entrance that me and my sister would take to William Debate. And thinking it normal, because again, you're so in the thick of things, you don't know anything else. It's normal. Never mind to talk about the kids getting jumped. Never mind to talk about the children that got kidnapped during the 80s. I don't want to get into details in regards to that. Talking about the strung out parents, the parents that would come to the school and fight with the kids. And it was normal. And then to graduate and go on to Perry, which was across the street from Hartford Projects, and you have girls getting slashed in the face 12, 13 times as they got on the bus. And the bus driver closing the door on her while that was happening. And a lot of community members turning their cheek, hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's their problem. No accountability, but that's normal, you understand. And to then finally at one point have the opportunity to see other people and how they live. Now, I always thought I was middle class until I saw middle class. Doing the Summer Bridge program over here on the east side, doing a program at Wheeler. And I remember Nancy Mullen was the principal, and she said, Abram, you really got to apply to this program. You'd be awesome, you'd be great. She had no idea I could not even write a paragraph. Now, I'm going into my senior year, and I passed, not with a fantabulous GPA. If I got it right, it was definitely below 2.5. But then to do the application and have my sister write the paragraph for me, to then be accepted. And then to actually see people from another, never mind another class, but another race, another culture altogether. Now I'm over here on Manhattan. It's a solid 3.5 miles, which I used to run because I didn't have a choice, you know? Because the bus doesn't go up that, RIP is horrible. Anybody who works for RIP, I'm sorry. But that bus will come every other hour at best. But then to be friends with some of these folks in the Summer Bridge program and to see how they lived, and they were talking about colleges that they were going to apply to, whether it was URI, Brown, Harvard. For the summer, they're going to go to Paris. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to graduate, get some girls, get an apartment, get a nice car. And then I saw how they lived, and they didn't have worries. Not the worries that I had to deal with. Not the worries that my brothers had to deal with. I come from a family of 7 brothers and sisters. We got different mothers. My father was very popular. The house was a little funny. I don't want to go into detail in regards to that, but it was so foreign. They would speak English over there. My coworkers would speak English. I had no idea what they were saying. The words that they used were not even close to my vocabulary. I was angry because I saw how nice they were living. I remember going back to senior year in Mount Pleasant and just being insanely angry when I'd walk through the halls. And it was no fault to some of the teachers, but I think that something could have been done. A little bit more. And it wasn't even their fault. It was like I started to think, it was like, how could I have passed so far to senior year and still not know how to write a paragraph? And get accepted to college, and at college, my first year, could barely hang. I had all the ganas in the world. I mean, I would study 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I still did not crack 2.5. I was on probation my first semester. I was like, yo, I am trying my ass off, B. I am really, really working. I'm really working. And I cannot hang. I dropped out. Or maybe I should say I took some time off. I said, if I'm going to compete, these are my contemporaries, I have to get my game right. And I remember I took a year off, I did AmeriCorps, and I read as many books as possible. And I took a night reading class to prepare myself to come back into the ring and compete. My father did a bid in prison. A couple, actually, to be all honest. I seen that. My uncles have done bids in prison. That 85%, I was supposed to go to prison. I'm angry. Graduate college, awesome. Honors, thank you. And then I get the opportunity to work in the prison system. I said, we're not got. Dig it out. Yo, what you say, Bill? I said, how much you make? I say, how much overtime, man? Yo, wait up, man. Ain't nobody in my family really middle class. But an opportunity for a lot of folks that have never met middle class, that both on the police force and the ACI and the training school, this was an opportunity. I was like, you said you got benefits, medical, dental. Oh shit, I'm jumping on that one, Jack. So despite all the education I received, despite my own all personal experiences, then I became a juvenile CO. The money's great. And I'm looking around. And I'm like, y'all are just like me. It was a bizarro world. Bizarre world. I was like, you look like me, you sound like me. Yo, we are related, literally. Don't tell nobody. Shh, I got you. gonna bring you some McDonald's on the low. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hook you up. Yo, here's a card. Toma, ahí está. Nothing illegal, just saying. But then also to have the opportunity to look at that, and it was real. It wasn't no books now. I had my own life that I lived, but now I'm seeing it. And then I was like, I'm a teacher by heart and by trade. I teach on my days off at the training school. I was like, I don't need the overtime, man. I don't even need it no more, man. I'm not even happy with this shit, man. You need a substitute teacher today? All right, word. Abraham, you know you're not getting paid as much, like literally half. That's cool, man. That's cool. It's all right. Start to teach at the training school. Start to teach at the ACI, a night class, a reading class, a GED class. And I was there for 5 years, and I slowly saw what we'd like to say they graduated from the training school to the ACI. So when they would see me at the ACI at night, Mr. Abraham, what's up? I was like, I would like to say I'm excited to see you. You know what I'm saying? But you alive, that's cool. I'll give you love. I thought, let's work this out. So, applied to grad school, got my master's, went back, worked directly with the gang population at the ACI. What I did was transform myself. I don't even know how to describe it because, like I'm telling you, I'm still in it. Because for years, I was working with people, black and brown, majority, my people, literally related, blood related, in blue and khaki uniforms. And now, the opportunity to work at a school, I'm no longer a correction officer. I'm no longer a substitute. I'm no longer a teacher per se, but to be a dean of students at this school that has the majority, black and Latino, that are both wearing blue and khaki. So it's a trip for me. My journey is a trip, and it's still in the progress. So whatever I'm telling you right now, literally it's a freestyle off the top of my head, And I know the 85%. I know the population I'm serving, that I'm dedicated to. And I love them all. I love the folks my people's at the ACI and the training school and at Paul Café, upper school. So I will leave you at this. There was one where I saw these students got up and they sang this song. I think Seasons of Love or something like that from Rent, right? So they're singing this. And again, like it's all black and brown students in blue and khaki. And my life, I feel like, has been the Twilight Zone to a large extent. And I'm like, wow. It's about progress. It's not damage control, because to a large extent what the prison system is damage control. It's a horrible system, and maybe we'll get into it when we get into like the session over here. But it is a disruption of how we are supposed to live. So many people, where they come from, they see natural progressions of our people, our men specifically, growing old. But our community doesn't see our men grow old, because they do a bid for 5 years or 10. So where's the father, where's the uncle, where's the person that they see? And then it's like, oh, all of a sudden you're 35. Where were you from 20 on? So now to see this population singing Seasons of Love, and I'm like, all right, what we gonna do next? We are the solution. And it's still a work in progress. Holler at me in a year, and I will have a different story for you. Thank you.